Hey guys, today we're going to show you the escape from a double wrist grab. Now that name can be a little bit confusing, but Mr. Joshua is going to make it real clear. He's going to grab me right now to show you what I'm talking about. So that means that he's got both of my wrists in one of his hands, okay? Now what he's not doing is grabbing both hands on one wrist. That's a different wrist grab, okay? And he's not trying to grab both of my wrists in one hand like this. That doesn't work, okay? So it's one hand to one wrist, but both of my hands are controlled. All right, so the way we're going to deal with this is we're going to use some cool things about the body. If I try to pull away from an attacker, the attacker is immediately going to try to pull me back toward him. So we're going to use that to our advantage. I'm going to turn myself into Robin Hood here. I'm going to grab my bow, I'm going to grab my arrow, and I'm going to pull back. And then his immediate reaction is to try to pull me back in. So I'm going to let him do that and then cross my arms. I want to think about trying to punch him in the toes. I'm not really going to punch him in the toes, but I want to go boom, down. Now you notice that this other hand comes up into my armpit. If I leave it down here and punch, I don't get nearly as much power. So I want to push and pull at the same time. There's one more really neat trick to this, and that's to drop yourself down into a horse stance so you get more force going downward. So he grabs me, I immediately grab my bow and arrow, pull. As he pulls back in, I drop, boom, and strike. My goal is to get his wrist bones to hit together. I'm not trying to punch him in the hand. I'm not trying to hit him with my hand in any way. I'm punching over his wrist so that his two hands come together, and there's a cool little nerve here and a cool little nerve here. If you hit them together, the hands go numb. It's very painful. That's my goal, okay? Sometimes when we do this, only one hand will release, and then we have to deal with this hand. We're not going to cover that today. You'll learn that in another video. All right, I'm going to scoot up just a little bit because I want you to be able to see that closer. Mr. Joshua, if you would. When he grabs, I'm immediately going to start making that bow and arrow. I don't wait. Now, he may pull me off balance first, and I have to get my balance and then go, but I'm still going to do it pretty quick. All right? So he grabs, I pull, I drop to my horse stance and punch down. From here, I'm going to leave. Great distance. Okay, let me show you that from a different angle and use a different hand here. All right, Mr. Joshua, if you go from about here, that way they can kind of see the front of my body as I drop into this position. I'm going to use my right hand this time as the punching hand. Bow and arrow, pull, drop, boom, and there it is. One quick tip, you don't want to jump into this technique. If you do, when you jump, they're going to pull you off balance and you're going to spend all your time trying to catch yourself. Instead, you want to think about slipping your feet out. Boom. It's almost like you're slipping on a wet floor or a banana peel or something. You just want to slide those feet out. Depending on what you're wearing and what the terrain is, that may be a little bit more difficult. So be aware of that when you try it with a real attacker. Make sure you guys practice at home. Hope that was helpful. Hope you learned something.